Hello. Hello. Good morning. Coming to you live from the basement with my Nelvana mug. By the way, for all you Nelvana heads out there, I like how I'm just switching the pronunciation. Nelvana, Nelvana. Which one? Which one sounds Nelvana, Nelvana? Now both of them sound wrong. But you know it sounds right. A collab with RetroKid. This is a free plug. I'm not getting paid at all for this. I'm just excited about all the Max and Ruby t-shirts available on RetroKid now. They're doing a full Nelvana collab. I'm particularly stoked about just this shirt that has the polar bear on it. You know I'll be rocking that. You know. The shirt is in the mail. And very, very Canadian CanCon cartoon centric morning already. That's no coincidence. Because that is I have so many windows open. I'm going to be closing them so I know what I'm doing. A lot going on behind the scenes here. All right. Yeah, get ready for a nice Canadian CanCon cartoon morning. First of all, I just want to thank again the people who showed up for the Thursday stream this week to get hyped for, speaking of CanCon, a whole new crop of CanCon animated stuff at the Animation Show and Tell Ottawa coming up in just a few short weeks. So it was fun to hang out with y'all and reminisce about Asantos gone by and get excited for the fourth installment this year, which is, having looked over the submissions again this weekend, is proven to be yet another great installment of Show and Tell. And really looking forward to this one and beyond. Next year will be the fifth, which already, let's get through this one, but already sort of thinking ahead to what we could do for the fifth to sort of, really celebrate all the amazing work everyone's been doing over these past years, creating just really pushing themselves, expanding their scope and scale and ambition. It's also really cool to just look at the submissions and see, yes, a lot of familiar faces, but there's also something which I had sort of expected and wanted. So sort of natural shifting of, like, there's people who aren't participating this year and there's some new people in there, so people get that first chance to show their stuff on screen. So really excited about that. But yes, this morning we'll be talking CanCon. Not that deeply, just some of my favorite Canadian cartoons. So without further ado, why does it still look like that? It should be. Oops. View. Enter full screen. What the heck? Okay, that might have worked. There we go. All right. There. Welcome to the First Thing in the Morning live stream with all its hiccups and bumps and technical difficulties. Sens and Six. I'm just calling it. Let's go. Go Sens, go. So for some upcoming streams. So these will be the next 4, and then after this, there's going to be a bit of a retooling. So I'm going to have a stream next week, first thing in the morning again, and similarly the week after. After that, it'll be a break week, and after that, I'll do a later in the day work stream, and by then, I'll probably have better information about how I'm going to be proceeding with the streams going forward. I feel up till now, this has sort of been a pilot period, test period, figuring out, what format I like, what time of day works. I've been really just trying to drill in on the first thing in the morning because I feel like that's an interesting niche, but it's also been very, just to put it simply, the Thursday evening streams it's easier to get people to come out in the evening, so that's been interesting to sort of contrast and compare and just for myself see what works best. Also, my schedule is likely to be, it is changing, and it's likely to change going forward, and not being sure exactly what that'll look like. I'm trying to find a solution where it's like a streaming schedule that I can hold to, that I can maintain consistency regardless of what my schedule looks like going into later in the year. So anyway, all that is to say, I'll do the next 2 first thing in the morning, take a short break, come back for the Thursday stream on the 21st, and by then I'll have sort of an idea of what the future of the streams is going to look like. All right. Why is this not changing on my screen? Do I have to keep refreshing this? What's going on? Is that going to keep happening? All right. All right. So disclaimer, I'm just some guy. If you learn something, cool. I'm not claiming to have the answers. I apparently don't even know how to work this streaming software. But I'm going to tell you what I'm interested in and what I'm trying. It might not work for you. I don't even know if it works for me. So this morning, we're going to do a Canadian cartoon quiz. So if you know the answers, I'm going to give you all a solid minute to figure out what these are from and take your guess in the chat. Currently, we have 1 viewer, so this is going to be Art Frog. This is going to be an easy win for you if you know the answers. And if not, we'll go over them and I'll tell you a bit about why I love these cartoons. All right, this is first. So this one's a bit of a deep pull, but I have talked about it on stream, I'm pretty sure, before. This one is, when I bring this one up, most people, I'd say 99% of people don't remember this show. Unfortunately, I think it's brilliant. Good morning, some guy. Default woo. I like both of those sentences. But yeah, this show was one of the Teletoon, is on their premiere slate. And it was based on a British storybook or comic book, I think, series. So this was a British and Canadian co-pro. I don't know exactly where it was made in Canada. I do know that Funbag Animation had something to do with it because at the very least they had I visited Funbag the summer before this show came out, and they had a signed picture of this on their wall. So they were involved to some extent, I would assume. So this show is called Captain Star, and it only ran for one season, 13 episodes, I believe. Let's see if we can go to the next slide. Yep, there we go. So yeah, this is a hidden gem. So it's a lot of weird stories. It has a whimsical, dry wit. So it's not goofy or wacky. I think that's a lot of my favorite shows. And it's rare for kids shows. I mean, I love wacky, silly stuff, but I love a deadpan delivery with the weirdest situations happening. That contrast is really fun. I also love the idea of a kid's show where all the characters are over the hill space explorers. I think that's fun. Making an entertaining show for kids, but with a bunch of people who are at retirement age. If you want to check it out, all the full episodes are on YouTube, including one where someone sells them these little noodly aliens that become a carpet that threatens to cover the entire planet and everything on it. That one's called Day of the Zooties, I believe. So anyway, dive into that. It's a good time. Good, weird drawings, fun, weird sound effects and music. Great voice acting. Richard E. Grant plays Captain Star, and he's great. So that's definitely one of my all-time faves. This one's an easy one. This one's straight over the plate. Who are these green siblings in this strange computery world? This one I'm expecting a correct guess on. And I will wait. Reboot. That's right. It is absolutely Reboot. Classic. This one might be my favorite. Yeah. Come on. Let's be honest. I love this show. Classic. Also, my slideshow isn't updating. That's classic. There we go. 1994, 2001 had a better run. Had 3 seasons and then a final season, which they didn't get to fully finish. They broke it up into these ambitious 4-part movie episodes that they didn't end up doing the back half. I think they were expecting the budget to come together for the second half, and it didn't materialize. So we're left with a frustrating half season, but 3 great seasons. Other than that, there's a great documentary called Reboot Rewind. Came out. It's like a multi-part series. What more needs to be said? Well, one thing that can be said that's pretty exciting is that as part of this Reboot Rewind documentary series that they made, they unearthed all the old master tapes for the show. So a lot of these I think were presumed to be lost or gone or something, but they let the documentarians look around and they were able to find them. And so the tough part then became finding the old machines that these tapes could run through so that they could create new transfers of the original tapes at their highest resolution for better future releases, both online and physically, for the show. And as of the most recent update, they have transfers of literally every piece of Reboot media, I think, the show, obviously, but also additional content, promotional content. I think even the stuff they made for the IMAX rides, I guess you call it. I think they were called Reboot the Ride. And also about a whole bunch of other stuff. So I think even stuff from the high transfers of stuff from the PlayStation game and so really cool. So I'm hoping there's another Blu-ray in the future. I would definitely pick that up. So yeah, this is the first fully animated TV show almost a year before Toy Story came out, and in my opinion still holds up. Rewired my brain more than once, both when I first saw it and later on when, spoiler alert, the show gets very dark and serious and little Enzo becomes a badass renegade lost on the net, and he has like a golden eye that can lock on to targets with his gun. Art Frog says, fun fact, when I was a kid I won a toy reboot car from Pizza Hut. It was cool. It shot little foam discs. That is really cool. The reboot car, would that have been Bob's car, his like red Corvette kind of thing? Pizza Hut and reboot are definitely linked in my brain too. Those kids eat free Tuesday nights, and they would have a toy of some kind. I remember they had little, very, very cheap, ugly little reboot figurines. Like, they weren't action figures. They were just little guys on stands, and they were very poorly painted. But I treasured them for years. I don't have them anymore, but they were kicking around my house for a long time. Oh, so he sent me a picture of this car on Discord. Oh, I think I turned off my slideshow to look at it. Oh, yeah. That is definitely Bob's car, though. Very nice. I'll pull it up on the stream after. I don't want to mess with anything more than I already have. This was not a cheap one. It was kind of huge. Yeah. No, that I mean, the one you won as a prize is probably one of the official, toy store toys for a reboot. These were just like Happy Meal toys, basically. It was like stuff they were giving away with the free pizza. So yeah, it's a classic show. Like I said, first computer animated show, or was it? What about Insectors? I hear you all ask in unison. So, does anyone remember Insectors? I do, because I loved anything computer animated at the time. I was just enthralled by this medium. Thought it was so cool. All this, Nintendo 64, Toy Story, and Phantom, the French studio that created this show, considers themselves to be the first computer animated TV show, but actually not because of Insectors, which, if you look it up, there's varying reports, but it seems like Insectors came before Reboot. But even before Insectors, there was Les Fables Géométriques. How do you say fables in French? Les Fables. Les Fables Géométriques. So these were 3-minute episodes produced between 1989 and 1992, broadcasted in France and 20 other countries. And I didn't know about this until literally yesterday when I was putting this together, and I was curious about Phantom. And I saw that they do claim to have the first computer animated TV show. And it's not even Insectors. It's this very, very, very proto 3D looking stuff. Kind of reminds me of those old short circuits. If you remember those on YTV, those little, whatever, 30 to second to a few minute interstitials of those computer animated shorts that would play between shows. This has very similar vibes, very rudimentary, very simplistic. And a lot of it is on YouTube, so if you're interested, check that out. Les Fables Géométriques. All right, what's this one? Does anyone remember this one? I'll leave this up on here for a second. See if Art Frog remembers this Canadian classic. all these shows had a very strong impression on me, and I can still look at stuff I make now and see its influence. Okay, not familiar. All right, then we'll just jump to the answer, which is sticking around. Guess because they're all sort of stick figure kind of. Well, they have stick arms and legs at least, and they're just sticking around town. And this ran for a couple seasons, 1996, 1998. This was a very fun show, very inventive and irreverent. It was, for example, there's a girl who has a pet dog that's dead. You can actually see it in this image that she would drag around, and she didn't know it was dead. So really kind of had a very weird sense of humor. And apparently when it aired outside of Canada, it was censoring a lot around some of the weirder parts. What I like about it is it's a good kids hanging out show, but it takes full advantage of the medium by letting their imaginations run wild. So the idea of like you're seeing a sort of kids drawing aesthetic because the whole point of the show is like they drew the show. Like that's sort of what the theme song sets up. It's like what we draw is what you see. And so like whenever they're thinking, and then aliens attack, then that actually starts happening. So it's because I find like later on, I guess like a few years later, there's a lot more shows that were just like about slice of life kids hanging out in neighborhoods and stuff, which, I like that. I mean, I love Peanuts, so nothing wrong with a very grounded kids hanging out in a neighborhood show. But I found a lot of shows went that way and sort of lost the weird cartoon weirdness, and this show has a heavy dose of it, so I love that. So it has like a doodly art style, like I said, and it kind of scribbled and moved, and they had like a unique piece of software or a script that would make the colors spill out and the lines dance around to make it look like it was like a noodly kids drawing, which is really cool because this was a very early era for digital animation tools. Like they were in 1996. You imagine they made this in 1994 and 5. Digital animation tools were still pretty much in their infancy. So to use them contrary to their purpose, which, is to get very clean, polished, and stable imagery, they used it to get a sort of loose, inconsistent style in a consistent way. And I find that really clever and creative. So yeah, that one, there's a lot of it on YouTube too. I think it's definitely worth checking out. I also love, I'm realizing these backgrounds had a big influence on me too. I made a short that I never fully finished. I might go back to it one day, that had very similar approach to the backgrounds, that sort of photo bashed and manipulated with weird colors. So yeah, and then with just the drawings over top. Can't escape your influences. And then we're going to wrap it up with one more. And this one is another obscure one that I personally love. I watched this one and reboot dubbed in Spanish. My sister was more into them. I moved to a place with no cable TV. I think they were both on CN or something. Yeah, I think Reboot definitely had, I think it was on Cartoon Network. It was also definitely on ABC. I don't know if they had a Spanish language broadcast. But yeah, Reboot definitely played on a lot of different channels. Sticking Around, I think, would have played, I remember it going on Nickelodeon and a couple other channels. So maybe that's maybe where you would have seen it. This one, though, I don't know how far this traveled beyond playing on Teletoon back in the 90s. So I'm wondering if anyone knows what this one is. Don't recognize this one either. No, I didn't expect it. But this one is called Untalkative Bunny. And this one actually ran longer than I thought. I think it had like 3 seasons or something, like 50 something episodes. And I thought it was a shorter run than that. So um, I'm this is also on YouTube once again, but the quality isn't that great, as you can tell from this image. I'd love to have like a high quality re-release of this one day, but I don't see that ever happening necessarily. Yeah, Nickelodeon makes more sense. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was for sticking around. I remember reading that at some point. But yeah, Untalkative Bunny, this was made completely in Ottawa. And I like this one just because it's just good cartooning. It's just this little character who doesn't talk, going through situations. Has a bit of a Rocco's Modern Life vibe, even though it's definitely for younger kids, in the sense that the stories are him doing stuff in the city, like, getting his passport photo taken and stuff, and just the busy work of just living a life and the silly situations. And it's definitely not as deranged or insane as Rocco's Modern Life, where they're always screaming and everything's always going up to 11. But it has nice little surreal touches now and then. Kind of has the more gentle vibe of like European animation, European cartoons. Feels very influenced by like Estonian animation at times, but very fun, sort of crude drawings. Like they feel very straight ahead, first pass animation, and that gives it a nice sort of loose vibe. The creator is Graham Falk, who went on to write for Adventure Time and Summer Camp Island, and he provided designs for an episode of Over the Garden Wall, where they go to I think it's called Cloud Cuckoo Land. And I believe this was Nick Cross's first job. So Nick Cross is a brilliant animator from Ottawa, and he was art director on Over the Garden Wall. And he's done a lot. I mean, he's done so much amazing work. He did a graphic novel with his wife Marlo called Orchard of the Tame. That's absolutely incredible. So definitely check out Untalkative Bunny and check out Nick Cross and Graham Falk. So those are I'd say those are the ones that pop into my mind when I think of my favorite Canadian cartoons. Obviously, there's a lot of classics I'm not mentioning, a lot more, let's say, impactful or memorable, culturally significant Canadian cartoons, like, I don't know, the Raccoons, for example. But these are the ones that when I think about the kind of show, I guess the kind of show I'd like to make would also run for one season, 1 year, and then be forgotten by everyone except for some weird cartoon nerd. That's the kind of show I want to make. So, and one day I will. All right. But for now, we're all going to draw cartoons together in a big Canadian cartoon draw pile. So let me just get that. Let me just close the slideshow here. What color are we feeling today? I'm feeling a sort of nice grayish blue background today. Edit. Canvas background. I find it's weird, but like when people are sort of performatively on stream, like doing something in the background, but don't want it to be dead silent while they're doing it, and they sort of say out loud, all right, well, I'll just change the background. Okay, that's good. I find doing that actually does help me, because it's weird to know you're being watched while you're doing it. And saying it out loud actually does help focus you on what you're supposed to be doing. That's a nice little blue. And I will start the session. Oh, it is Shane Plant. Shane, we're about to do another draw pile. And you can only draw Canadian cartoons. But that's okay because you have a Canadian cartoon that you create called Wizard and Champion. And if you've not seen Wizard and Champion, correct that immediately by going to Premium Fantasy Studio on YouTube or on Instagram. Or you could join the draw pile. And Shane, who's going to join the draw pile, right? He could draw a Wizard and Champion. So you can see it right there. All right, I'm posting the link to the draw pile in the chat. I'm pinning it to the chat. And let's see if my stream is cooperating here. It's not. It really is not. Wow. Why is everything... I have to keep... Am I going to have to keep refreshing this as I draw? Is that what's going on? All right. Will my music play? That's the next question. Seems to be.
6.
Even though I never know how the volume is, but you can tell me if it's too loud or too quiet. That short was amazing, Shane. Thank you. Wait, the little short we posted yesterday? Because that took me forever to do. And I think what they're talking about is this really cool Street Fighter inspired. It is loud, eh? Okay. I'm going to turn out. Yeah, Shane did this really cool animation of Champion doing a sort of like Street Fighter reveal pose in fabulous 16-bit color. Is it still loud? See, there's no real way for me to hear how loud it is on the stream. I guess I should just know what the settings are to make it good. Unfortunately, there's like the volume from the software. There's the volume in OBS, and then there's the volume on my headphones, each of which can change how I'm perceiving it. 10% more, and I'm good. Okay. I can do that. There. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's still called the Santo Hype Stream. I just changed it back to first thing in the morning. I'm also trying to get it to talk to OBS so I don't have to keep restarting it. I don't know why that's happening. Well, I guess I'll just have to deal with it today and figure out why that's happening. I was having some issues with it earlier where I had to sort of force restart it. It does have its little quirks, but honestly, for free software, it's pretty good. You can't complain too much. So is the music not coming through now? Yeah, it seems like I have to keep restarting the capture on things, or it just sort of goes dead after a few minutes. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to keep the music going, but it's not cooperating this morning. Yeah, I don't know. I keep trying to restart it, and then I see the little green bars there, and then I look back and they're gone again. I also was trying to make the volume listenable, not too loud. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to roll with it for now. It's not gonna work today. I feel like I'd have to restart the program. And I don't have a way of doing that without ending the stream. That sounds all right there. Yeah. I think the problem is too some of these there's no consistency to the files I'm playing. So in the future, I think one thing I'd try to do is create a music playlist that's like one audio file that's a bunch of different stuff, but sort of normalized audio to play during streams. That or a live band playing behind me. Either way. Yes. Cyril Sneer. Oh, nice. Frisket. Very good. Galactic Chick just joined the session. Is that a stranger or is that one of us? There's a Monday every week. Yeah, so far. So far, so good. We be having Mondays. Much to Garfield's chagrin. Dude, Spike? Who's Spike? Spike. Oh, you mean the dog? The dog's name was Frisket. Frisket. And that was also the name of my cat growing up. You'd think that was because I named it Frisket, but you'd actually be wrong. It was my sister, who also liked Reboot, but I think she just liked the name more than being a super fan of the show or anything. So Frisket was also the name of my dear, dear childhood cat. Do, do, dee, do, do. Yeah, the music keeps dropping out. I think that's just going to be too annoying to keep bringing it back, in addition to making sure the draw pile's on screen. So I'll try to keep blabbing for another half hour and just name other Canadian cartoons that I can think of. Total Drama Island. That was one. That is one. I think it's still running, isn't it? Some version of it. There's like Total Drama Rama. Yeah, they just kept doing different versions of that show. What are some of your favorite Canadian cartoons? Tell me in the chat. There are the other computer animated ones, the Beast Wars and Shadow Raiders, Beast Machines. Love those as well. Beast Machines had a techno soundtrack that absolutely slapped. Ah. That's too bright. Beetlejuice does count. That was done in Toronto. Yeah, that was Nelvana. And Robin Budd ran that show, who was one of the very early Nelvana animators. He was the main animator who did Mock in Rock and Roll. And so, yeah, he did the Beetlejuice TV show. We'll count that, even though it's not a Canadian IP. The production was very much Canadian. That was a good one. Used to watch that all the time. Why can't I get this color right? I guess it just looks wrong because of my line color. Oh yeah. Mock Daga. Is that his last name? That's awesome. Mock Swagger, right. Yeah, Mock Swagger. Oh, Nelvana shows. Love their 80s shows. Heavily driven by toy sales. Yes. A lot of things in the 80s and 90s were very much toy commercials. And we loved them. We really did. I think Ninja Turtles was sort of the zenith of that, or Transformers, I guess. Transformers was kind of the ultimate toy show. I like the way that Transformers came together was taking a bunch of different Japanese transforming toys and just telling some Marvel writers to say, like, imagine all these guys are from the same universe. How do they all connect? Is it Swagger? Damn, I'm 0 for 2 this morning. You were very close with. I mean, Dagger is pretty cool too. I'm sure that's a name they threw around. I kind of remember more live action stuff I watched as a kid, like Space Cases, or not specifically Canadian cartoons like Batman Beyond and Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. I revisited that one not that long ago. For some reason that like theme song always gets stuck in my head. I think just because I love like the premise of it is so, I don't know, so funny to me. Taking Sherlock Holmes and giving it this like techno remix vibe. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century. I might as well. I'm still listening to the music. I'm gonna turn off because no one else is hearing it anyway. It's not fair for me to have all the music to myself. I'm gonna draw Enzo. They repeat the name of the show over and over in the song, so it's good to remember, yeah. Ooh, what are the best cartoon theme songs? There's a lot of good ones. Some of the best music is cartoon theme songs. Like Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but these two gumshoes are picking up the slack. Care Bears Countdown. There we go. That's another Canadian one. Care Bears. At least the production. Nelvana. We do the Care Bears countdown and send a wish out to the air. Should just do a whole stream where I just sing all my favorite cartoon theme songs. You guys would like that, right? Gargoyles, yeah, that is an epic melody. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, definitely in the top 5 conversation. Defenders of the Earth OP? Defenders of the Earth OP, I don't know that one. DuckTales, yes, another one that's definitely in the top 5 conversation. Defenders of the Earth. I sort of vaguely know this. I'm gonna listen to it right now. Oh my god. This is very classically 80s theme song. It's taking me in so many different directions. I'm going to put this link in the chat. This is worth sharing. Mighty Max. Mighty Max was Mighty Max Canadian? No, France and UK and the United States. I was rewatching some episodes of that not that long ago. Because it was on. There's these people will make compilations of Saturday morning cartoons and put them on YouTube. So it's a fun way to revisit some that you might not think to search for. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about Mighty Max. And it turns out like it's a lot more solid than you'd kind of think. A lot of those shows you go back to and they are not as solid as you might think. But this one actually had pretty funny jokes actually and good voice acting, and yeah, it was better than I thought it might be for a sort of forgotten toy tie-in show. I love the Mighty Max toys though. I played with those a lot. Those little, such a fun idea that it's like a little play set that can fit in your pocket. Such a good idea. This isn't reading as zipboard. France TV shows are spiritual cousins of Canadian animation. Yeah, it's true. We did get a lot of those Canal Plus kind of French productions heading our way. I've got that Defenders of the Earth song in my head now. Just the melody of it. This is beautiful. Ren. This is a really good Ren. Aw. I love this guy. Very good shading here. I love that. It's beautiful. My Frisket is here. He is doing his best. That's all we can ask of Frisket. That's all we need from him. His best is good enough. Frisket was the best. It was always just a crowd pleaser moment when he was let loose onto a bad guy. Yeah, he could always like grab an entire tank and throw it around. Had like impossible strength. He was pretty sick. Enzo. It's funny. The other day there was a worker at my house doing some work in the basement, and I have an Enzo action figure hanging on my wall. And he was just like, "Hey, Enzo." I was like, "Yeah, that's him." And he was like, "All right, well," and then like it was almost like he realized like he had nothing more to add to that. He didn't want to start a conversation about Reboot. He just wanted to, I don't know, say hi to his friend Enzo. Because then he was like, "Well, see you later." I was like, "Okay, have a good day." But I'm glad he got that little moment with his good friend Enzo. He didn't say alphanumeric. Oh my god. That would have been incredible. Alphanumeric. I think that's as good as this zip board's gonna look. I have to figure out how to make it look appealing in 2D. But he's zipping around. He's zipping. You start letting workers in your house, and pretty soon they're running entire business out of it. Slippery slope, dude. I'm okay with that. I wouldn't mind the company. I could have them. I could bring them on stream, talk to them. Oh, we're drawing the car, Bob's car. So what are you watching these days, Spencer? Honestly, I'm not watching any TV shows currently. I did just see a couple of Canadian movies this week, which was nice, celebrating Canadian Film Week. I saw a movie I'd seen already, but it was fun to see it again. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. And I saw that a screening at The Laugh, which is the oldest tavern in Ottawa. And spoiler alert, is briefly mentioned or featured in the movie. So someone organized a screening there, and that was fun. And then on the weekend I saw Mile End Kicks, which is the new movie by Chandler Levesque, who did I Like Movies, which is another great Canadian coming-of-age movie. And this was another coming-of-age story about a girl who moves to Montreal for a summer to write a book. She's a music journalist, music critic, and she wants to write a book about Alanis Morissette. So she moves to Montreal to sort of learn more about life and open herself up to new experiences and inspiration, like her hero, Alanis Morissette. And she definitely gets some new experiences. Some great movie about really fucking up in your early 20s. I'm watching The Count of Monte Cristo on PBS. It kind of rips. Okay, cool. I'll look for that. Speaking of PBS, there's a Wishbone documentary coming out. Does anyone remember Wishbone? The dog who would have literary excursions. Oh wow, it's already almost 9:30. Jeez. I think without the music, I lose sense of time a little more easily. What's the story, Wishbone? That was a fun theme song. Looking for adventure, like a story from a book. Shake a leg now, Wishbone. It's crazy how that stuff is just permanently in your head when you grew up with it. So let me make a little story of this. Wonder if anyone in my comments will recognize Untalkative Bunny. Are You Afraid of the Dark All Day All Night was awesome. Yeah, it was a great show. Work on any projects, Spencer? Right now, just prepping for the animation show and tell this week. And so I got some other stuff that I'm chipping away at, but I won't be focusing on it for another couple of weeks. What's the story, Wishbone, sung to the tune of Lisa, It's Your Birthday from the Michael Jackson Simpson episode? Ooh. What's the story, Wishbone? What's... yeah, I guess Lisa... How's the rest of it going? It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. What's the story, Wishbone? Take a second look. It works. I can do it. I can roll with it. Lovin' the Wren. Used to draw that character a lot when I was a kid. I would record some episodes on tape and pause them to draw them. I wish I could have preserved some of those. Did anyone ever pause the TV or pause a movie and like put your paper on the TV and try to trace the drawings on TV? Didn't really work that well, but I definitely did it. Definitely tried it. All right, well, apologies for the janky stream. We have to keep refreshing things, but here we go. Here's sort of where we're at with the draw pile as we wrap things up. Good Canadian content. Very Canada first, very Canada strong. I like it. I'm proud of us. What's the Yellow Rabbit from? Familiar but can't place it. That's Untalkative Bunny, which was a show that was produced here in Ottawa for Teletoon in the late 90s. It was, I believe, the first animation job of Nick Cross. Thanks. I'm convinced some of the best animation ever happened in Ren and Stimpy. Definitely some of the most inventive and wildest cartoon animation, for sure. Too bad John Kay sucks. He does. Yeah. Never thought about it. Not sure what we were talking about. She's a beauty. Yeah, it's good. All right. That's going to be it for me. I got to get ready. Head to school. It's my last in-class day for the semester. And yeah, I'll be back next Monday with another stream. And hope y'all can join for that. All right. Have a good week, everyone. Bye.